Do you think there's going to be a resurgence of the mixtape era? It feels like artists are doing more like on the fly shit, not worried too much about DSPs.
Yeah.
Like,
I think there's some nostalgia. There's always some nostalgia. So I don't know if I would feel like a full resurgence, but I mean, you know, in the last couple of years, obviously, like even after me and Tyler did Call Me If You Get Lost, there was a huge Gangsta Grillz resurgence. Like, you see what Swamp is doing with Cardi.
Yep.
Like, even with if you listen to West Side's projects a lot, like he has various like drops in there and everything, and then like you said, like, you know, artists are going back to some rogue shit where they
even like Who Kid getting a drop on the push-ups was sick.
Fire. Yeah,
but I heard the
fire.
old. I was like, check out the Who Kid drop.
Yeah, and because I talked when that happened, I hit him like, "Yo, send me the song." I'm thinking
he did it.
He had it, but I just literally was just placed there just to give you that mixtape feel. Yeah. So it was hard.
People don't know this too. Well, don't think about it, but Damn was a mixtape.
Yes, it was. Shout out to Kid Capri.
Kid Capri had drops all through that joint.
For sure. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that was
definitely.
another form of it. I was listening to it the other day. I was like, damn, this is actually a mixtape. He's doing what Swamp Izzo was doing. Just little, you know, sprinkles here and there throughout the whole joint.
Yeah.
It was dope.
For sure.
Wow, damn. Put that in perspective.
Yeah. Shout out to Kid Capri, man.
Facts.
He's kind of like the godfather of all this shit. For real.
Of course.
So, yeah, that's wild, man.
And shit, if you put it like that, it really makes sense. Since when you think about the mixtapes, he was the godfather.
Yep.
Went on to become who he was, and then, you know, a project like Damn came out, and, you know, and then even remember Cole put a project out and had Killer talking at the beginning.
Oh yeah. When we and Cameron just talking his shit on the intro.
That's another
You know
form.
what I'm saying? So
that's dope.
It's
and he had Little John at the end.
crazy.
That was hard.
That was hard.
That was hard.
Dreamville Fest gonna be crazy though.
Yeah, I'm hyped. And it's the last one. I'm kind of mad it's the last one.
I know, man.
I've
get
never
it,
been
though.
before, so
I understand like why though. I feel like the festival game has been bastardized and whored out.
Yeah,
I feel
1,000%.
Yeah, I feel like
We talk about that all the time.
I just feel like, you know, and then it also kind of fucked up like you won't see like artists doing like normal shows anymore because they're just holding out to get a festival bag because they could charge more. So then you won't, like a lot of kids these days, they don't have the experience of going and watching their favorite artists do like a 300 room or 300 person cap anymore because
they're going to these festivals.
they're just gonna go do like be like the 12th artist on Coachella or something and
looks
fucking
big.
and make it. You know, that's the thing. That's why I respect. There's a lot of artists like Doechii. Doechii just did her tour. And she did the Crowbar in Tampa, which is like 150 people.
Recently?
Yeah.
Since the Grammy?
No, right before though.
Gotcha.
She was touring this mixtape. Like,
Yep. Okay.
For this project, she did that tour, and I remember even seeing the dates, and I was like, "Oh, she's doing Crowbar?
Wow.
That's sick."
Yeah, that's fire.
Like,
but she's smart enough and has people around her to know what it's like to build up to be have a ticketing fan base. And that's important too.
Yeah, I think Boss Man D-Lo just went through that where he was getting all that club money, and his team had to be like, "Hey man, you're gonna fuck up your hard ticket bread." And then they did. His tour is going crazy right now.
Yeah.
Dope. That's shout out to Boss Man D-Lo.
By the way, you and Boss Man D-Lo doing a Gangsta Grillz would be fucking iconic.
That would be classic.
I like that idea.
That should be funny as hell.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That shit would be sick because he's kind of like the new Jeezy, low key. Like obviously they don't sound the same at all, but like you know, just subject matter.
That statement has come up before.
That'd be crazy.
It's an interesting statement. I love Boss Man D-Lo. I love what he's
Just on the intro, make sure you shout out Kev.
Shout out Bootleg Kev for the idea. Let's go.
I would say something way more creative than
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I got
Let's go. It's not his terminology.
Mr. Thanksgiving. Morocco drama.
Yeah. Come up with something.
Is there any new AKAs that you've come up with that are topical?
Draw Madden.
Who? Draw Madden?
Yeah.
I like that.
That's fire.
Draw Madden, yeah.
That's hard.
Draw Madden is tough.
I like it.
Yeah. I'm actually in a
Dramala Harris?
Wow.
If she would have won, you go with the Dramala Harris, right?
That's not the one.
Dramala Harris.
It's never the one.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'm gonna probably skip that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't do it now. Like,
For many reasons.
yeah, for many reasons.
Yeah. I didn't think about that one though.
My favorite was the iPod King though. I was mad about that.
Oh, the
I was like,
iPod
I want
King.
to call myself the iPod King.
Bro.
That was a good one.
The iPod era, I had
That's crazy.
that big one, that fat silver joint. Man, I had so many.
Didn't you have an iPod chain?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. You had the shirts.
I had the shirts. Yeah. I had the shirts.
Somebody had an iPod chain though.
I think they
I
did.
think somebody did.
I think they did.
I thought it was him.
Yeah, somebody.
No,
did.
somebody had the iced out iPod.
That's
They
what
did.
I thought. Those.
Yeah, they did.
Who was it? But it was like the case. Man,
Yeah.
the iPod used to be. Fuck, man.
iPod was
They
crazy.
need to bring them joints back.
I'm sure you can still get one.
Yeah, you
can
can.
still-
But
Amazon,
you
for
can't
sure,
put nothing
eBay.
on
You
it.
can't. Oh, you can't.
I'm sure the connector don't work.
Technology, yeah, you gotta.
But I
Have
would
you
love
guys
to.
thought about buying Dat Piff or anything like that?
Well, you know, Dat Piff went into biz. Shout out to KP. They're in this. Dat Piff bought World Star, if I'm not mistaken.
I know there's some sort of world star Dat Piff thing KP's involved
I
with.
just saw KP do an interview just recently.
He did something with Adam.
He did it with Adam. He did. I watched that. So I wouldn't say like the question you just asked about buying that Piff. What I will say is, speaking of mistakes or things that I'm upset that I didn't do, was around that time not making gangstagrills.com, and when artists were trying to put out Gangsta Grills, not doing it where it was like, okay, if we can do it, but we're dropping on gangstagrills.com. Because I remember the type of money that I was getting paid initially from live mixtapes and then from Dat Piff. And it was I was making more money in that era than I made before the raid, for sure.
And that was after the raid.
That was after the raid. This was 5, 6,
They were
7
essentially
years.
cashing you out for the exclusive, right?
Yeah, they were cashing me out for the exclusive. I was basically on payroll, so I was getting a check every month just to be exclusive. And then when an artist would come, they would cash me out for the tape up until the artist realized what it was, and then KP had to start cutting the artist checks, which I was totally all for. Don't get me wrong, but looking back on it, thinking about how much money was being given to me, which means how much money was being made if I would have made a site, and
like if you would have almost been like, well, shit, if they're paying me this much, they must be,
you feel me,
making enough to
to cover this and more, to be living contently. So why didn't I do this?
Right.
But it's all in the hindsight.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of artists you guys almost signed.
The list is extensive.
What was like the closest one that people kind of know? I mean, I don't want you to like air out somebody's like fucking deal situation, but I know that there's a few artists that you guys were talking to that has been. Was there something that almost got over the finish line that just for whatever reason just didn't work out?
Yeah, there are many. I mean, we were close to signing Tory Lanez.
Shout out to Tory. His album's hard.
I gotta listen to it.
It's fire. It's tough.
Yeah.
Especially all things considered.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how he recorded it, but that shit is tough.